Hey everybody, it's Heidi Hope and it's FAQ Friday. I'm here from the Heidi Hope Studio, broadcasting live to answer your questions this week. So we had a lot of awesome questions as usual. Thank you to everybody who plays along with us every Friday. So the fun thing about FAQ Friday, we started this as a blog post a while ago. And well, years ago, really. And we used to answer questions, so we'd do it like every slow season. Every winter, we'd say, we're going to do FAQ Fridays again, and we'd do it all the way until like April. And then we'd get busy, and then we'd totally stop doing it. And then January would roll around again, and we'd say, we should really start doing FAQ Friday again. So the problem was, it was too boring for us, so we always just kind of let it go as soon as things got busy. So this spring we decided maybe if we just make it really fun for us and just make it everything we want it to be, that we'll do it no matter what, because we'll always look forward to it. So that's what we started doing. So that's where all this kind of the crazy pictures and videos came from. And now we just enjoy it so much that even if none of you join us, we're still going to be here every Friday doing this. Those of you that are crazy like us and join us every week, we really appreciate it and we love you, and thanks for the great questions. Okay, so if you found us on Facebook doing FAQ Friday and you are no longer seeing our posts, you may want to go up to, on our Facebook page, there's a little gear, and you can click that gear and it will say get notifications, and you'll be more likely to actually see our posts. But as I said last week, Facebook doesn't really like us posting anything about Google+, so typically when we post this stuff, nobody sees it. So you have to know to check our wall every Friday, or join us over on Google+, where you can still see our posts for the time being, or try to get our notifications, and that may help. All right, so let's get to the questions this week. We have first from Christine Robin Photography. She says, wow, that video is awesome and hilarious. Thank you, Christine. If you guys missed our call for questions this week, it might be my most favorite ever, using the crazy helium booth app that we're addicted to now. Okay, so besides posting awesome content regularly, what is your secret to thousands of followers on Instagram, Pinterest, etc., and all of your likes on your Facebook page? Any social secrets or tips for us for building likes on our Facebook pages and followers on other social media? Thanks, and as always, HHP for the inside scoop. Christine, this is a great question, and there is no easy answer. There is no magic bullet. It does require consistent content regularly be putting out there. So a lot of people actually outsource this. If it's something that you don't enjoy doing, it's something that you could hire somebody to help you with. I actually really love this type of stuff, so I've done it from the very beginning, and I continue to still do it. Although people at the studio now kind of help me with like maybe pinning from our blog or things like that. But really, it's a consistent effort over time that has helped everything grow to be where it is. So here are a few tips. First, there's this really great book that I wanted to recommend to you, and it didn't print out big, so I'm just going to hold it up really close to the screen. Okay, so this is one of the books I just read, and I joke, people make fun of me because when I went to Jamaica, I got back and I was like, I read like 5 books on marketing on the beach, and most people go away to relax, but for some reason reading books on marketing and business really relaxes me. So this was one of them, and it was really good, so I highly recommend it. So I'm going to hold it up to the screen. There we go. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'll put that link underneath this post. But he's got a really good take on the current social media platforms, all the different platforms, and the different voice that you should use for each platform. Now, I'm not really great at all of this yet. I'm trying. So I try to just, you know, Facebook is sort of like where we have our biggest following, and so then we use Facebook to branch off into our other social media platforms to try to diversify, and also grow your newsletter list, because at the end of the day, any social media platforms could be totally obsolete in another year or two. Even Facebook now, I mean, everyone says all the cool kids are leaving Facebook and they're all on Instagram now. So, you know, you work hard to build those followings, and then they could easily be taken away. So your website is the most important, and your blog, and trying to grow your email and newsletter list, because nobody can take those things from you, and you can always reach your audience even if things change. That being said, I still think social media is a really powerful form of marketing, even as things change. So just, you know, if you I had that little social media ninja post. It's on the learning blog. You can check that out because I have a really good social media workflow where it's starting with your website and blog and then branching out into all those other social medias. And if you use that consistently every time you do a blog post, then you go through that checklist and do each one of those things. All those little baby steps, they really do add up. So there isn't a magic formula, and it isn't easy, but it is fun. It's just time consuming, and you have to consistently make that effort on as many platforms as you possibly can. So I'm sure that's not the answer you wanted to hear, but it is the truth. All right, let's get our second question here through my papers. Okay, Lynette asks, what is in those cupcakes? I assume that you're referring to the video that we made. And I will tell you that it is just a whole lot of awesome sauce. Okay, Venus asks, can we see some before and afters? So with this little way that I'm broadcasting here, I can't really show you the before and afters, but I like that idea. So maybe one FAQ Friday we could just do a whole screen share where I can show you some before and after shots. So I will pocket that idea, Venus. Also, she asked for tips for golden hour photography. She was using a reflector and it was causing her daughter to squint. Okay. So we actually don't do a lot of shooting during this time anymore because our studio hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Sometimes we do an evening shoot, maybe around 5 or 6. So that would be golden hour photography depending on the time of year. It's the most beautiful time to take pictures. It needs the least amount of work afterwards. Once you learn the light. So if we can shoot at that time, we definitely love it, and I highly recommend it if that fits within your schedule. As far as advice for that, for the reflector, if you find that it's shining right in their face and causing them to squint, what you could try is rather than directing it exactly at their face, you could actually just lay the reflector on the ground, like at their feet, and it will bounce enough fill light up into their face without actually like bouncing direct sun rays into their eyes, and that could help with squinting, assuming that they were backlit. If they're lit from the side or, you know, they wouldn't really be top lit at golden hour, but if they're lit from the side, then you might not even need the reflector, or you bring it in on the side, but really just pulling the reflector away so it's not so strong will help with that. The other thing you can do is when you're bouncing the reflector in, let's just say, okay, let's look at me right now. So we've got light source coming in on this side. If we were going to fill light, we would fill the reflector on this side. So if I'm doing that, maybe I could just have my subjects turn and look this way a little bit. So they're not looking towards the reflector or towards the light source. They're kind of looking away from either direct sources of light. And that could help with the squinting issue too. So I hope that helps you. All right. Lena asks, well, first Lena said that we were hilarious but almost creepy. So I'm sorry that we weren't creepy enough. We were just almost creepy because we really try to be super creepy. So next week we're going to try even harder to get the full creepy rating from you. Okay, but Lena asks, how do you juggle photo shoots, editing, bookkeeping for the business, cooking, cleaning, and family time? You are bigger and have hired help, but when you started out, this should apply, right? This is a great question, Lena, and I'm really passionate about it because I meet so many photographers who have just started their businesses who really struggle with this. And let me tell you, it is universal for entrepreneurs. Starting a business is not easy. And a lot of people get into photography as a business because of their love for photography. But what they don't realize is that like 90% of running a business has nothing to do with photography. It's all about the business, marketing, accounting. You know, there's a lot of planning involved in it, and somehow all that stuff that we loved and we got into it for ends up being like the smallest percentage of what we do. So I think that it's really important to go into starting a photography business thinking of it as an actual business, if that's what you want it to be. And even if it is just a hobby, it's very time consuming, so you can still kind of plan how you want to use your time. And you should be really honest and realistic with yourself about how much everything takes. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you is just take a couple of weeks and actually observe how much time you're devoting to everything that you do. So kind of keep a journal and be like, okay, I spent 2 hours on Facebook. I spent, 3 hours editing. I spent an hour culling images. Whatever you're doing that you wouldn't be doing if it wasn't for your photography business, write it all down and keep track of how many hours it takes. Then you can kind of set a realistic schedule for yourself. So, you don't want to give yourself 2 hours of editing if editing takes you 6 hours, because you're going to be doing it up into the middle of the night, unplanned. So that's one thing that you can do to kind of start setting a realistic schedule for yourself. In addition to that, I have a lot of help, and I priced my business in a way that can afford to pay that help, because if I didn't have all that help, then I wouldn't be able to shoot the number of sessions that I shoot, and I wouldn't be able to give the level of attention and customization to every single client that I give. No business model is wrong. There are lots of high volume, low priced models out there. There is no problem with that if that's the type of experience that you want to provide. For me, we do a lot of these like really custom details. We get kind of artistic and creative with every single shoot, which is what I love about it. So to do that, we had to price ourselves in a way that we would have a lot of support staff. I will also say that I have a house cleaner, and my husband does all the dishes and most of the laundry, and I do the cooking, and so we really divide our tasks among ourselves like fairly. And even before having the second baby, we said if we can't afford to have a nanny, then we're not going to have a second baby, because I work so much, and I knew that I needed that help there to be able to do it. I could never do all of this alone. So thanks to all the people who help me and do an amazing job. And I want other people to know, I think that sometimes they look at me and they think, how does she do it all? Running this business and being a mom and all that stuff. I would go crazy trying to do all of this without any help. So I don't want you to feel like you can't do it either. I think just be realistic with yourself. If you're a stay-at-home mom right now without childcare, don't think you're going to be able to run your business like I'm running my business. It's two totally different things, right? So whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, I know that you're doing a good job with it. And if you can't handle it all yourself, hire some help and price your work in a way that supports that help for your business that's needed. No one should be up till 3 in the morning editing, unless you're Jean Smith, my friend, because she does that's her happy time is 3 in the morning. Not for me. That's not my happy time. All right, so our last question this week is mini sessions. Oh no, we have a couple. Okay, so Karen made this really creative video for me, which I so appreciate, and it really made my Friday even better. So she asks, do you keep images for a certain amount of time after your sessions? And how do you handle that with clients? So yes, we do. We have we archive all their images that they order after a session. We archive those for a full year. Any unordered images we purge 6 weeks after the session date. And they come in for an ordering appointment. Here's the thing, we're really able to do that because we hold everyone's hands through the ordering process. So we help them make their decisions. We customize wall displays for them. We send them design proofs. So they're not just, I think if we just handed them all their images, they would be totally overwhelmed. Like just a gallery of images, I feel like they would just be like, how do we pick? I don't know what I want to do with these. But we know our product line really well. We know our most popular stuff. So that's a huge service that we provide, is helping clients figure out what to do with all their beautiful photos. Then after that order is placed, we do send out a reminder, and anything that they order, they can always reorder within the next year, so that's comforting for them too. And then before their images expire, if somebody didn't order, which really never happens, but if somebody didn't order, we would send them a notification letting them know that their images were going to expire. Part of that is constant communication. Clients know that before they book. It's part of the contract that they sign, and then we keep in touch with them. If somebody's gallery is going to expire tomorrow, Sean doesn't wait till it expires. He calls them the day before and he says, hey, your gallery is about to expire. Are there any questions that I can answer for you? Is there any help that you need? And we actually set appointment times to be able to get in touch with people and make sure, because you know, we do so much work with planning. They take time out of work to come to our studio. It's a major investment for them. And we want them to love and enjoy those images afterwards. And if we don't provide that level of service on the back end, I feel like we're totally dropping the ball. So that's sort of how we handle that. And then as far as mini sessions are concerned, she asked, do we do separate packages for mini sessions? And we do most of the time. So for example, a regular session of ours might end up being like 60 or 70 images, and so the package that includes all of the images is a certain price. So with our mini sessions, if it only includes 15 images, we do create some like smaller packages that are more suited towards very short sessions that are not very in-depth and don't have a huge variety within them. So we do that. And then Karen finally says that she wants to come party with us, and we want to party with you too, Karen. So you're actually not far away, so anytime, come visit us. Thank you everybody so much for joining me again this FAQ Friday. Don't forget to visit our learning blog and sign up for our newsletter for photographers. I've got some big announcements coming up and some fun stuff coming your way. Also, just so you know, our 2015 workshops are almost sold out. I think we have a few seats left in February. January and March are almost completely sold out. There might be like one seat left. So if you're thinking about joining us for learning in the coming year, that is it as far as I know until 2016. So if you want to come see the HHP Studio, get on over to the blog and check it out. Thank you everyone so much for joining me this week, and we'll see you next week. I'm going to be broadcasting, hopefully if the weather's nice, from the beach because we are taking a family vacay. So we'll see you then. Bye.